When was the last time you made a New Year's resolution and it didn't stick? It's said that roughly 80% of people that make a New Year's resolution actually fail. There has to be a better way. In today's video, find out what that is. Coming up. Hey, I'm Sam with Systems of Impact, your place for growth-minded millennials looking to find their six-figure careers. Now, before I jump into a better way to do a New Year's resolution, let me define exactly what a resolution actually is. I'm gonna go ahead and read this off. It's a firm decision to do or not to do something, or the quality of being determined or resolute. Now, I know when I have made New Year's resolutions in the past, they were not a firm decision. It's like, I want to go ahead and do this thing, but it just didn't actually pan out for me. Do your New Year's resolutions ever feel that way? I know in the past, I didn't stick to an exercise regime. I didn't stick to a diet regimen. I didn't stick to pretty much any New Year's resolution that I've actually done in the past. Absolutely zero of them. But what if every day was a new year? What if what you actually measured got improved? Or what if a lot of these resolutions were not necessarily resolutions, but they were things that you were doing that tied to something bigger? A lot of these what ifs are kind of alluding to what I'm getting at, but the key piece here is what you've done in the past typically hasn't worked, especially when it came to a New Year's resolution. I know for me, they just didn't work. And so because they weren't working, I had to find a different way to go about doing something different, because the definition of insanity, as it's mentioned, is that doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. And so if I wanted different results, that meant I had to do something different. So what actually worked for me? Take stock of where you're at today. And I say that because many times we want to go after all these different things. I know I've done this in the past and I've made plenty of mistakes when it came to this. I would go after all these different things. I'd be like, I want to, lose 20 pounds, or I want to get to body fat percentage of X, or I want this new raise or this new promotion, this new job. I want to deliver this product. All these different things were all these things that I, genuinely wanted, and I thought that I was going to go ahead and tackle. But, 3 weeks, into January, and I was already starting to crash and burn on some of them. And so it's one of those things to where if you don't know where you're starting before you actually begin, then a lot of these resolutions are actually very difficult. So something that I've done, and this is something I encourage you to do. I'm going to again do it here as we start into January, but if you're into anything Brendan Burchard or any kind of thought leader in the high performance space, they start to get into journaling. And I'm still not the biggest fan of journaling. I haven't been able to actually fully utilize this particular skill yet, but the key piece here is, like with the high performance planner, and I'll use that as an example, is it goes over and it looks at all the main areas of your particular life and has you rate them. How clear are you on the particular goals that you want? How well are you generating energy? How are you raising your overall necessity? So it goes through and has you look and dive deep into these areas to find out, where are you at today? And that is a key piece, because if you don't know where you're starting and you don't know where you're going, although sometimes that resolution is that target, it doesn't give you the ability to measure where you're going. So if you don't, let's say for example, you want to lose weight, because this is something that typically a lot of us struggle with, is, okay, I want to lose 20 pounds. Great. But if you don't actually weigh yourself and you don't actually document how you feel today and what you're doing today, then if you're going to go and target losing those pounds, it's going to make it very difficult, and it's going to make it a very scattershot approach. Same thing in the job realm or the career realm. If you're not taking stock of where you're at today, and let's say you're a project manager, but you want to get to a product manager, you don't know where you're starting from a project perspective, you're not going to be able to measure that gap. And that's going to be crucial when it comes to this process. So once you go through that and you actually take stock of where you're at today, now it's time to take a stock of where you want to go. And that's that end target. You know, if you want to lose X pounds, or if you want a new job or a promotion, what do you want? And I know that sounds very simplistic, but it's actually very difficult, because clarity for many of us has come only through experience. And so when you're going through and trying to figure out what you actually want, so let's say, for example, when I was making the transition from project manager to product manager, at the time, I didn't know I wanted to be a product manager. It wasn't until I actually went through and started taking stock of a lot of the things that I wanted to learn or was starting to get curious about that I finally defined, oh yeah, I want to be a product manager. So getting clear on what you want is really going to help you with this process. So taking stock of where you're at, and then taking stock of where you want to go. Those two pieces are crucial when it comes to actually succeeding at a resolution. Now, I'm not going to get too tactical in this particular video, but the next piece that you're going to want to do is you've identified where you're at today and you've documented that, and then you've gone through and looked at where you actually want to go. Now, one of the failures that I've had in my past is that when I've gone through and set a particular resolution or goal, or whatever the case ended up being, I didn't tie it to something bigger or why I actually wanted it. So when I'm saying this, let's say, for example, you want a particular raise or promotion. That is great. But if you want the raise or the promotion just to have that thing, it's going to make it very difficult. The drive and the ambition and the discipline that it's going to take to get to that thing in and of itself, and I'm not saying always, but a majority of the time, it's not going to pull you through. The overall or the overarching goal that you're going after in this particular case is, let's say, for example, you want to be a product manager, and that product manager is because twofold. One is that you want to be able to strategically implement a product that is going to impact people's lives in a positive way. Awesome. The other piece is because it's going to allow you to live a lifestyle that is conducive to what you actually want. It's going to give you the freedom to go and travel. It's going to give you the freedom to go and eat at restaurants that you want to go eat at. It's going to allow a lot of that financial freedom. So when I say tie it to something bigger, I'm not just necessarily saying tie it to that particular goal, but that goal is a piece of something bigger than itself. And the importance of this is because when the going gets tough, and this is why 80% of the people fail after 3 weeks, is because the going gets tough. Willpower will only get you so far. And so discipline and knowing that that thing that you're going after is worth more than the potential short-term suffering you're going to go through, the what and the why. What is that bigger thing, and why are you going after it? This alone, even if this is the only piece you take away from this video, this alone is going to propel you so much further, because it's tying things into a particular way that cognitively it's going to get you out of the willpower realm and start getting you into the discipline, and then you'll start to see dramatic shifts in your overall life and your career. Now, for a little bonus piece of this particular method, you're looking at, documenting where you're at today, documenting where you're going, seeing what and why you're going there. One little bonus piece that's going to help you go even faster is accountability. And just explain this to other people. Just share it. Make it known to those around you that this is what you're going after. And it doesn't necessarily mean go get an accountability partner or mastermind group, although those can help you. But just merely sharing this thing with people inherently adds a level of accountability for yourself. So if you're going after this particular, raise, for example, then go ahead and share it with people. It's like, I want a 35% raise with people or with my job, and here is when I'm going to get it done by. Great. Then people know that you're actually going towards that. And if you end up asking for help, and we all need help at times, that is just something that, especially if we're going beyond something that we're already or unaware of, we're going to need help to hit that next level or see what that next olive branch looks like. So in this particular case, asking for help, if people already know what you're driving towards, then they know how best to actually help you. So go through, share what you're doing, and make it known that you're going to get something done. And that brings me to the question of the day. In the comments below, make sure to make it known. What are you going after? What are you going to crush in 2021? And most importantly, why are you going to crush it? If you're finding value in today's video, make sure to hit that like button. And if you do have any questions, put those in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.